Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Sports Mole's Football Shorts. I'm Barney Corkhill. I'm here with our football editor Matt Law. I'm delighted to say we've got a very special guest on this week's podcast. We've got football agent David Lee from the world-renowned Stella Group. They represent the likes of Gareth Bale, Jack Grealish, Ben Chilwell and hundreds of others. Thank you very much for joining us, David. Great to have you on.
No problem.
I think the best place to start is with you. So if you could tell us a bit about your background, how you got into football and how you got into being an agent, that'd be great.
Okay. So I played Sunday football and then got picked up when I was about 10 for Spurs. A local scout invited me up. So I started going there once a week and then got offered a scholarship when I was 14. And then 18, obviously left school at 16, done my scholarship, then signed a 2-year professional contract at 18. Left there and then had numerous clubs. I went to Gillingham, Southend, Brighton, Hull, Aldershot, Oldham, Bristol Rovers. So I had plenty of clubs. And then I was playing for Canvey Island, 2007, I think it was. I played against Canvey Island, for Aldershot in the conference. And I went in for a tackle and broke my tib and fib and dislocated my ankle. I woke up the next morning in the hospital and the surgeon said, "Look, I fixed your foot, but you're probably never going to play again." So, sort of sorry about the bad news, but that's where we are. So, it was a bit of a shock. 27. Still thought I had a good sort of 6-7 years playing football.
Sure.
Had no plans what I was going to do after. And then it was sort of woke up one morning and someone told me I'll probably never play again. So I spoke to my agent at the time, a guy called Tommy Cunningham, who was a great guy. He said, "What are you going to do?" So I said, "No idea. I don't fancy being a coach. Don't really want a proper job, really." So he said, "Look, I'm not in a position where I can give you a full-time job, but if you want to start doing some scouting, getting out to games, networking, a bit of mentor work with his young players, then he said, I'm all for it." So I started doing that, more so evenings and weekends. And then during the day, I run my brother actually, and my brother had a maintenance company. They used to do industrial cleaning for at power stations, and I rang my brother up and I said, "I need some work." And he said, "Why are you ringing me? Like, there's no way you'll do the work that I'll have for you." So I said, "Jim, I need to get out of the house. I'm sitting indoors all day. I've got to go and earn some money and have something to get up for in the morning." And it was a bit of a low time really, because it was all my mates were going to work and I was like, what the hell am I going to do? And gradually my savings pot was sort of getting smaller and smaller, and I had bills to pay, mortgage to pay. So I went and done some industrial cleaning for my brother, and that was an eye opener for sure. We were like jet washing the coal conveyor belts that they would drop. The ships were coming in, dropping the coal off, and the coal was running into the power stations, and we were like jet washing all the sort of 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. Shoveling coal, sweeping up oil spills. It was brutal, but I quite enjoyed it because I'd gone for a few months of being in it. Well, obviously for 10 years, been in a dressing room for the players, the banter, the sort of just being amongst the team and stuff. To then sitting at home on my own, sort of a good 6 months with my leg in sort of all over the place, and then after that I was still looking for work and didn't really have anything to fall back on. So it was quite good to get out and get amongst a group of lads and have a bit of a purpose to get up in the morning.
I suppose that doesn't really enter your mind, does it? When, like you say, when you come through at such a young age at Tottenham, you're never thinking, "Oh, at 19 I could pick up an injury to end my career." Probably not something you even think about, is it?
No, it's not. You hear the odd occasion, but you just think, "Hey, won't happen to me." It's something that I try and as soon as a player turns professional that I represent, I try and encourage them to get like career-ending insurance. you can see a lot of them are thinking, well, why do I need it? Do I really need to bother? But hopefully, they never need it. But for those that do, then it's such a good thing to have to fall back on. Maybe a year or 2 years' salary paid in one lump if you can't play again. So
I was going to say, because
all
surely
things like that.
I know you take care of the whole, everything off the pitch with a player, really, not just like transfers and everything. So having that experience of, one of the worst things that can happen to a player, obviously getting a career-ending injury, that must help you to sort of deal with that whole side of things and more the person rather than the assets, if you will.
Yeah, I think it's. I try and explain to the lads and make them, especially these boys that they're at Spurs and Man United and Arsenal, like the facilities they have. The facilities were good when I played, but when you go there now, they've got everything: sports science, swimming pools, gyms, state of the art stuff. They've got. I think we had a coach, an assistant coach, and a physio. Where you go to the training grounds now, there's 25 staff for the academy. It's crazy. So I just say to the boys, just use every single day, every hour of the day to improve yourself. To be, there's definitely no excuses not to be fit, strong, like a powerful player, and they've got everything there to improve on a weekly, daily basis. It's criminal not to use it, really. But I suppose some of them just take it for granted, and it's not until they start falling down the tree and then having to go to Southend training ground, like I did from Spurs. We went to Southend training ground, boots and laces, which it's okay, but I remember my first day at Southend, I walked in and asked the physio to strap my ankles, and he was like, what do you mean? I said, well, I normally have my ankles strapped before training. He said, well, go and buy your own tape and I'll strap them up for you.
Yeah.
And then,
the thing that stands out for me, though, when I'm thinking about young players and stuff, obviously, we've all been young men. We know what we're like at 16, 17. How difficult is it, when you've got a player, when, the dad wants one thing, the mum wants one thing, the brother, the uncle, they've all got a say. And at that age, it's quite a lot to deal with, isn't it? Because you're still a young man. You're still, developing as a person, let alone a footballer.
Yeah, definitely. I think my dad was really, really strict on me till about 16, 17, really strict. And then he sort of stepped back and said, like, you're an adult now, get on with it. And made me make decisions. And I made so many mistakes, choosing the wrong agent, doing the wrong things, spending my money in the wrong way. And I sort of look back and think, I wish my dad would have carried on that sort of guidance and discipline with me for a bit longer, because I wasn't ready, or not so much I wasn't ready, but I could have been so much more sensible and a lot more disciplined in what I'd done. And I look back and you had such a good opportunity and you just let it pass you by. It's criminal, really, but you see it so often.
Do you think those mistakes have made you a better agent, though? Because of them?
It's so cool. So I think definitely I think the players I've had for a long time, they see that I care, and I think their families see that I drum into them that not to make the same mistakes as I did. And I think that as a parent, they want you to do that.
Yeah.
Because you know what it's like when you're 17, 18, your dad's like, do this, do that, and you're like, all right. And you get to that age where you think you know it all, and when it's a different voice, someone who's been in their situation, I think the parents are sort of like, Dave, look, we'll be mum and dad. You deal with the football, like, and don't be scared to give it to him. So you have some parents like, I'll ring a boy up and give it to him because he's done something wrong, or I'm watching him play and I'm thinking, you're miles off. What is going on? And I'm hard on him, and then the parent rings me up and he's like, what are you saying that for? Why are you? I'm like, well, look, if he comes to me, if he gets released in 6 months' time and says to me, well, hold on a minute, why am I getting released? I'll say, well, I've told you every single week what you need to do better. But if I'm not saying that, it's like, well, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you? It's tough.
I think that's a thing with agents, isn't it? I think they've got a bit of a reputation among the wider football fans of just, they only see the money side of it, the agent's fees, but they don't see them taking care of the player as a whole, do they?
Yeah, you well, I've been doing it. What am I doing it now? 12 years. the difference in dealing with families and parents is that's the biggest difference I've noticed. And expectations of players. It's But sometimes I just get off the phone. I just think, wow, like these people are just deluded, completely deluded. They just don't know what's around the corner, and you're trying to tell them, without being too harsh. You're trying to say, look, you need to be careful here because you could be out the game in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But they're like, mum and dad are like retiring because the boy's got his first pro contract and want to live off the boy, and it's like, wow, like the pressure the kid must be under.
Sure. Dave, if we could speak about that, Nick Pope for a second. Obviously, you'll know a lot better than Barney and I. From the outside point, you know, you look at someone like Nick Pope, you think, you know, great lad. He's not in the media. You know, don't see him coming out of nightclubs at 2 in the morning. And talk about last season, was it 15 clean sheets in the Premier League, which is absolutely phenomenal. Like for Burnley, don't get me wrong, obviously Burnley are a good side, but 15 clean sheets and, arguably, England's best goalkeeper. Obviously, that's an argument, but in terms of like talent and where he stands now, I mean, what's he like as a lad?
So it's probably the easiest client I've got. He's playing in the England squad regularly. He's nailed on now for the England squad sort of weekly, or whenever they're called up. As you say, 15 clean sheets for Burnley, some going. Obviously, the way the manager sets the team up and the way they defend is a team effort from the front. So it's not all Nick, but he seems to produce a save when he's called upon. And he's, as a lad, he's just focused. As you say, he's not one of those to be out. His missus actually, her dad was a footballer, Kevin Horlock. So I think she's been around it and seen both sides, can see what a footballer should and shouldn't be doing. Sure. So I think she understands and she's good with him. But yeah, he's great. He's got a little girl and another child on the way, and he's just happy-go-lucky. He just can't. Sometimes I suppose he just can't believe where he is and what he's doing. He's if there's ever a player who deserves it for the hard work he's put in, then it's Nick for sure. Because I remember offering him on loan to clubs, sort of not even that long, 6-7 years ago, I'd say. Offering him to like conference clubs and Leagues 2 on loan, and managers were saying, "No chance, can't kick a football. I can't have him." All the shots sent him back from loan, said he's nowhere near it, said he's not good enough. That was 7 years ago,
It's been a quick rise as well, because it wasn't that long ago though. It wasn't even Burnley's nailed on number one. Obviously, they've got quite a lot of competition for the number one spot. But for England,
Burnley as a free.
Sorry, go on, yeah.
He moved to Burnley actually as a number 3. So they didn't tell us that. They told us he was coming in as number 2. But as soon as he got there, we quickly realised that Paul Robinson wasn't going to move out of the way that quick. So, which might have helped. He might have looked at that and thought, well, they promised me I'll be number 2 and I'm number 3. So perhaps I need to do a bit more or try a bit harder. So he was number 2 the following season. Got his chance, come on in the game against Palace, pulled off a great save early from Benteke. I remember sitting in the front room and hearing he's come on. So it was, sort of told the missus to turn the telly over when we were watching Burnley. So, but yeah, we just got in the team and he just took it in his stride. He wasn't flustered and he's got real deep belief that he deserved to be there, which sometimes that's a key part of it. You see a lot of kids get a chance and you look at them in the eye and you think deep down they don't really think they're ready, or they don't think, they tell you they are, but deep down they don't believe it. Where you speak to some players and they're ready and they think and they know they are. It makes a big difference, massive difference, because you'd sometimes get one chance.
Knowing him like you do you think he's cut out for to deal with the pressure of being England number 1? Because it looks like he's going that way, and as big a scrutiny than he's ever faced before, probably.
Yeah, it'll just be a normal game for him. He won't put any extra pressure on him. Obviously, what it's like playing for England. You're you let one through your hands, and it's you're on the back
Yeah,
pages
exactly,
of every newspaper. But he doesn't make many mistakes. Obviously, Pickford's number one at the moment, and you've got Henderson. He's got to be careful because obviously Henderson's just behind, and Nick will be aware of that. You know, he's not one just to focus on. Let's try and get Pickford out of the team. He'll also be looking at the top young keepers around that are sort of pushing him as well. So he'll be pushing himself, and hopefully he gets a chance soon.
You mentioned Henderson, David. Obviously, he signed a new deal at United. Obviously, it looks like he will be staying there next season. Obviously, you'll know more than us. But do you think he can become, United's and England's number one? Obviously, De Gea's in the way at United, but
yeah, I think he's. I don't think they're offering him a 5-year deal without thinking that he can. Obviously, you've got a world-class goalkeeper as number one for Man United. He's made a few mistakes. Let's be fair, but he's still a top goalkeeper, still a world-class goalkeeper. Maybe Henderson coming in that might make De Gea raise his game and concentrate. And there's sort of two ways to look at it for Man United, I suppose. But Dean's got the potential to be Man United goalkeeper for sure. He's another player who believes he should be playing for Man United right now. So it's not going to faze him. He'll just rise to that. You know, there's some players that when you think of them playing for a big club, you sort of worry a little bit that can they take that pressure every week. But Dean would, he'd have no problem with that. He's a confident boy.
Yeah, it was quite bold of him to come out and pretty much say, I'm challenging David De Gea next season, and that he came out and said that recently.
Yeah, that's him though. That's his character. You know, he's ready. He wants to push people, and I'm sure they're good friends and training, and they have a good working relationship. But yeah, Dean will be focused on getting that number one spot, that's for sure, and he'll do whatever it takes to get it.
Fantastic. David, we touch on Lewis Dunk. I mean, obviously spoke about him. Obviously signed. I don't know whether you can tell us if there was interest from Chelsea at all. Obviously, it was reported that there was. Signed a new long-term deal. Another player that obviously has established himself as, a fantastic central defender in the Premier League. Obviously not in the England team in a minute, which is a little bit controversial for many, certainly for myself. But what's he like, Lewis?
Yeah, Lewis is probably the most laid-back player I look after, I'd say. He's one of those, you send him a WhatsApp and he'll reply 3 days later, or I speak to his dad probably more than him.
Okay.
Sometimes I've got a relationship now with the dad, really. I've looked after Lewis for 10 years, so I've got a relationship now with the dad where if he's on a long drive or I am, we'll call each other and have a chat, and sometimes we don't even mention Lewis, we just become family friends, really. And they invite me to weddings and christenings and family parties and stuff. So it's I'm close to the family. Lewis is I've noticed a massive difference in his maturity since he's had children. That's definitely a good thing for him. So his kids now are probably 6 and 4. And then once he started when he started a family and that, he really changed and had more focus, and that was a real positive for him, because he was a little bit laid back and a little bit focused elsewhere as well, but I think the last 2 seasons in the Championship, and then the is it 3 years now in the Premier League, maybe? Is it 3? Maybe this is the 4th season. So yeah, he's been excellent. I think every game you go and watch Brighton, really, he's in the top 3 players for sure. He's the best player. I might be biased, but I think if Brighton lost him, then it'd be a massive blow to them. So the owner's been great with him. The owner and the board, every time we've asked for a new contract, I think he's signed a 5-year contract. The last 5 times, 5 summers out of the last 6. He signed new 5-year deals where they've kept bumping him up because there's interest and just they want to keep him and keep him happy. So they sort of nip it in the bud, really. As soon as there's a little bit of interest, they come in and give him a long-term contract, up his money. So they've managed him as a club really, really well. They've been really fair. A lot of clubs would say, well, you got 4 years left, so no, unlucky. But they've said no. Actually, you've done great, and we're pushing the barrier up again. So we're taking you with us. So they've been really good, and they've managed him great. He's never really had to put his foot down or kick off, to get something. It's always been an easy one to do.
He must be pretty happy there if he keeps on signing these 5-year deals as well.
Yeah. There's been a lot of interest. Every summer I get calls on him. So it's sort of Brighton's interest as well to keep him on long-term deals. The boy's happy there. His kids are in school. He's just built his own house in Brighton. His dad's a builder, so he's built his own house and he's really happy there. I think if a top 6 club come along and really push the boat out for him, then it'd be hard to say no. But he's had quite a lot of chances to move to other Premier League clubs and doesn't see that as a forward step. So, it's just a shame he's not in the England squad because I think he fully deserves it. But obviously, there's a difference of opinion.
Yeah. What about the challenges facing agents this summer, David? Obviously, it's been an unprecedented time in the world for everyone, not just football. It's been an incredible time. Obviously, you're looking at clubs' budget. You're not too sure, where they can pay their players, how much they can pay them. How difficult has it been this summer compared to previous summers?
Yeah, it's been tough. I think the lower leagues have been different. We anticipated that loans would be a really strong market this year for lower leagues. We thought that squad sizes would come down and we'd get a lot of our young players at United and Spurs, Liverpool out on loan easy. But a lot of clubs have sort of looked at it and thought, well, the way we're going to make some money is developing our own and selling them. So let's give our own kids a chance, or let's recruit at a younger age. I think the market now for anyone over 28, 29 is tough. No one's buying players over 28, 29. Even the Bosman market's tough, You got the boy from Bournemouth, Ryan Fraser, who you thought they'd be queuing up for him, and he still can't. Well, sure he's got offers, but he's obviously not got an offer that he wants. Hendricks obviously went to Newcastle, which wasn't a bad one for him, but there's the Bosman market. William got a good deal. We done Lallana, but other than that, it's not as appealing as clubs see it. They want to buy someone who's got some resale value. Unless you're Man City, Liverpool, Man United, who can go and buy them 29, 30-year-olds to strengthen. But even these clubs at the moment are looking at 23 to 25, 26 max. Anyone over 29 is struggling to get any more than a year contract or 2-year contract. It's tough. Especially lower leagues. Lower leagues are obviously. If you spoke to a few managers and they're telling me don't want any loans and they want 3 transfers under 25 years of age for half of what they were paying last year.
Yeah. I suppose they're so desperate, aren't they, to get the fans back in? Obviously, like I say, it will hit the lower league clubs better. Obviously, let's hope that obviously they're doing pilot events, aren't they? And I hope that they will get them back in. Obviously, that will make a big difference when it's the finances. Yeah,
of course. But it's big, especially lower leagues. Premier League can get by, because of the TV money and stuff. But the lower leagues, I spoke to the guy at Portsmouth, and he was saying 50% of their budget is through gate receipts.
Crazy.
So all of a sudden, they can't just say to everyone, "Right, we're halving your money." You've got to stick to the contract. So,
have you seen an increase in people wanting to do swap deals? Then you mentioned loans.
Yeah, swap deals. Swap deals is popular. Yeah. Swap deals and swap loans, or loans with a view to permanent. That's been quite a popular one. Don't get me wrong, if you've got some real top good young ones, then you'll still get them out on loan. But it's a lot of clubs are trying to develop their own now, and I think they'll be desperate to try and bloody young ones, sell him for 4 or 5 times more than they paid for him.
Yeah.
Anyone outside the Premier League, even the lower Premier League clubs, that I'm sure clubs like Burnley and stuff would love to sell a Nick Pope for 30 million at 29 years of age, or Tarkovsky or Ben Mee, someone where they can go and make some serious money on, to help them out.
Obviously, the big clubs this summer, you look at Chelsea, obviously, it stands out. They obviously spent a lot of money. A deal that obviously might still happen is Sancho. I'm not asking you about the Sancho deal, in general, but there's this thing about the moment that United want to actually agree fees with the agents and the intermediaries in the deal before going to Dortmund with a bid. I mean, how complicated is a deal like that when you've got so many different parties involved?
Yeah, I think should be an easy one really for the players' terms. With Man United, he's a world-class player. He's probably one of the most exciting young players in the world. So, he's going to be top dollar really for salary. And then you have to pay the agent the going rate for a top player. I don't think Man United will have any shocks when the agency fee or the player's salary demands come in. I think they'll be anticipating exactly where it'll be right at the top end of their budget, I suppose. So,
do you think there'll be big deal? Do you think there'll be big deals before it closes, like October?
I don't think there'll be many. Chelsea have had a right go, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't know this, but I'm guessing that the owner has looked at that and thought, for all these years I've been spending all this money. Frank's come in and probably put 5-6 players in the team from the academy that are now worth 30-40 million that were worth zero. So why not back him?
Absolutely.
And sort of blend the young ones in with some world class talent, which makes sense really.
It's probably he's viewing it as an opportunity, isn't it? Because no one else can really do the business they would usually do.
No. I think obviously United have spent money. The Champions League clubs have spent money. Those that missed out on the Champions League will be a bit tougher. I think like Leicester probably won't spend as much as they would have liked. Arsenal obviously have furloughed and released a lot of staff, so it's difficult for them really to then go and pay big money after asking so many employees to leave the club. It's not the right thing really for them to do. So they won't do or won't spend loads. I wouldn't have thought.
David, what about someone like Jack Grealish? Obviously, been spoken about a lot. Villa staying in the league has obviously helped them massively keeping him. Do you think he'll be on the move this summer at all?
Or there's plenty of clubs that like him. It's just obviously Aston Villa, rightly so, are going to want big money for him, and then it's whether the clubs feel that they want to pay that fee for him, I suppose. I don't know. Obviously, my boss looks after him, and I don't really ask too much about what's going on because that's down to him. And I think the less people that know, the better for him. But yeah, I think I love him as a player. I'd go and pay whatever Villa wanted personally. But there's, as you say, there's only a few clubs that have the money to go and buy him, and then them clubs need that position. That's the thing. It's a bit like Nick Pope. A lot of people think one of the best goalkeepers in England, done great, but who actually is going to go and spend 30 million and 25, 30 million on a goalkeeper this year? I'm not sure there's many in the whole of Europe. There's not many clubs who are doing that.
Yeah. I think just to ask about Stella's probably most high-profile client, Gareth Bale. He probably won't be able to tell too much, but there's obviously he's now admitted he wanted to leave last summer and is sort of being blocked by Real Madrid from leaving. What's your take on that, and what's the sort of latest on that situation?
I don't really know, really. So Jonathan looks after Gareth.
Yeah.
But look, I think he's got 2 years left on a contract, and I don't think he's in. I think he likes it there. I think he'd love to play for Real Madrid on a regular basis. I think he's tried to stay and fight for his place and try his best to get back in the team. They've been on him from the start. They're very, there's a rumour starts, and then the whole of the Spanish media jump on it, and then the fans turn on you, and it's a tough place to go and play as soon as there's some negativity around you. It's it's tough. But Gareth wants to play for Real Madrid. Whether that is possible. Lost you? Hello?
Hello? Yeah, we're still on.
We had a bit
of a bit of a
yeah,
cut
a
out.
glitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little bit of a glitch. But yeah, I suppose obviously plenty of clubs would take Bale, wouldn't they? But you're talking, I think, like you say, he's got 2 years left on his deal, and he's probably happy enough to play in Spain. Obviously, he's playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. So
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure if Real Madrid say, look, he's available, and Gareth says, leave, I'm sure. Yeah, I honestly don't really ask any questions, because if anything gets out in the media, then
sure.
they know they can't point the finger at me because I've not said anything. I don't really ask about stuff like that. I let them get on with it, and when there's a deal to be done, we find out.
Sure.
Enough, yeah. I think, unfortunately, we're just about out of time now on this episode. But thank you again very much, David, for coming in. It's been a very interesting chat for us and fascinating insight into one of the world's biggest agencies and the role of an agent, especially in this uncertain time. We'll have to get you back on sometime, David, as well, to talk again.
No problem.
Thanks for that, Dave.
Okay.
Cheers. All right,
Cheers,
so don't
mate.
forget we have all the latest transfer news and rumours covered over on sportsmore.co.uk, as well as news, features and previews ahead of the new season, which starts just next week, unbelievably. It feels like the old one's just finished. Matt and I will be back ahead of that to look ahead to the first round of games in that game week, doing our prediction competition, which we're 1-1 overall after I won the Champions League one and Matt won the Premier League one last season. So to make sure you don't miss an episode of this podcast, please do subscribe.